Yeah. All right. Okay. Um. All right. What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin, and we have an amazing show for you today. Uh, as you're stepping into the live stream, please let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. And let me put up your chats. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. What's up, guys? I see you guys here now. What's up? Doheny and Goodman are C-level fighters. If Naoya isn't getting a Junto fight, move up and take a Nick Bell fight. Okay, ball. Justin, what's up? Jonathan, what's up? 97. Almost didn't see you in the corner. Yeah, nah. I try to put up like a thumbnail picture of one of the fights that I'm gonna be putting the thumbnail up for. But and then you put that up and it's like, how the hell do I take it off on this streaming service? It's not the same as the other one. We'll figure it out. So, well, look, unfortunately, at this point, for now for a fighter such as Naoya Inoue, he took out what he did was he took out the top guys first. And by doing so, it really doesn't give him a lot of credible options or big names to really come out and say, who would you like him to fight? You know, the one of the top opponents in the rankings is Sam Goodman. And Sam Goodman has the number one spot for two of his world titles. Seeing that he pulled out of the fight, took a fight that most of us were left us scratching our head saying, why did he fight that guy in particular? It wasn't like this guy brought out some similarities like Naoya Inoue, right? No, he goes in there, breaks one hand, fractures the other. I don't think he's going to be ready for the December date. So they're trying to wait him out and due in part to the top rank video that they put out, the little documentary on Naoya Inoue, where he's saying that I think he might have hit his ceiling. I think he's going to stay at 122. End his career at 122, make a bunch of title defenses, knock out the top guys, spin the block, knock anybody else out right off into the sunset. I don't think that he's going to give the boxing world opportunities to beat him, meaning do what fans ask for. Go up to 126. Why? Because it makes the most sense. But you're not the one in there taking the punches to the face. You're not the one seeing, obviously, you're at your limit. And for a fighter to understand that he's at his limit, that's gonna, it shows that he's not willing to tip the scale in your favor. Meaning, if you're gonna beat him at his best. He's maxed out right here. Anybody wants to come see him, this is what weight division he's gonna be at. He has nothing else to prove. He has 4 divisions. He successfully defended all 4 belts, and he's going to continue to do so. So that being said, I don't think that he has anything else to prove by going up to 126. The only thing he has to prove by going up to 126 is seeing if he can get a fifth weight division, which would tie him with some other legends. Five weight divisions. Oscar De La Hoya has six. You know, that's 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 those men on rooms. There's a very short list. That's a special category to be honored as. The Puerto Rico, the highest champion they had was Miguel Cotto, and he was a four division world champion. Um, to have a man to do something like that, but if he feels that he reached his limit, everything that Naoya is in a way has done and given back to the sport of boxing and his countrymen, Japan, which in fact they are in double digits with world titles. And it's like you can give your people the notoriety, you can give them the stage, but they have to execute. They also have to be good as well. And he had a lot of those men believing in themselves and saying, there has been other great Japanese fighters. He's not the first one, but he is the first one to do the stuff that he's doing. Naoya Inoue is the best Japanese fighter, and I believe he's going to go down as the best Japanese fighter of all time. With some of the credential he has, but we've talked about this. It depends on the fighter. It depends on the fighter if he retires well. What if Naoya Inoue doesn't want to retire and he fights 45, 50 years old and he's getting knocked out and it doesn't end well for him? Those losses are going to count. The fighter needs to be responsible for their legacy, their career, and everything they built. I've said this. I felt like if Errol Spence Jr. was to retire tomorrow, only one man beat him. That's it. Only one guy beat him. If he was to retire tomorrow, he's probably going to go down as one of the longest reigning welterweight champions. But the more he continues and he continues to roll the dice and he wants to go into this fight, I guess, with Sebastian Fundora, right? Which, listen, regardless of what you think about that man's skills, the puzzle he presents with his height and reach, just, it just that alone, if you fight a guy that doesn't know how to use it, like in the beginning of Sebastian Fundora's career, he mostly fought it in the inside and he was criticized for that, right? So when he was fighting like that, but now of late, his last two fights, he's been fighting much longer and he's been utilizing the weapons that his creator gave him. He's starting to so I think I think that's a puzzle in itself. Hey, but look, the live stream. Thank you for joining. Bam Bam, I see you in the building. Junto might beat Naoya. We need to see it. Wow, OJ. One of the longest reigning causes of. How do I say this? Right? Junto Nakatani is a very talented fighter. He's a very talented fighter. And make no mistakes, he's taking care of his business. The guys that he's fighting are decent fighters, But none of those guys that Junto Nakatomi fought against is Naoya Inoue. And when you're saying that Junto Nakatomi you think can beat Naoya, it's just simply because you probably saw him last. And he's the one that's the shiny new thing. Naoya Inoue is making it look easy at times where it doesn't really look like he's fighting anybody. But if you were to back up and just check out the guys that he's fought, legitimate world champions. Some of the men that lost to him went back and got their titles back, which, what's that say? Had it not been for that guy, I would have still been world champion. That guy's a world champion. I'm a caliber of opponent. Junto Nakatani is good in his own right. He's lengthy, rangy. He knows how to fight from the outside, inside. He has a good jab. He has a very wide stance, though. And when you can have a wide stand, a man with such footwork and ring IQ as Naoya Inoue is going to pick that apart. Naoya Inoue truly has never, there's no style that he hasn't been in the ring with and competed against. He's really knows how to shut down his opponent. And Junto Nakatani, although talented, I see a lot of talent. He needs a lot to go to be able to understand the things that a fighter such as Naoya Inoue are doing in the ring. I truly believe he would outsmart him. He'd outsmart him. And just like many fighters that come in a fight with against Naoya Inoue, at some point in the fight, they're looking for a place to hide. At some point in the fight, they're trying to survive. They're usually backpedaling, trying to figure out, how is it possible this guy's hitting me this hard? And when you can't think and he's got you running back to a point where you forget your game plan, you're in a lot of trouble. He doesn't really let you settle into the fight. He makes sure that he keeps you busy with a good attack and hard punches. And I don't think that Junto Nakatani is going to look exactly the way he's been looking against the guys he's been fighting. A lot of the guys he fought, were not real elusive. And when they got hit by him, their inexperience told them to engage. And he put them away. He had good patience, good timing, step back, boom, finish the deal. Junto can do that, but so can't Naoya Inoue at a much higher level. I truly believe you would have to give the Junto Nakatani a little bit more time, 2-3 more fights. Let him see if he can be dominant against other opponents. More American fighters, absolutely. And being that he would be the man that's coming up in weight, it's not that that I would be impressed by his height, because Naoya Inoue has proven that time and time and time again that height, it's not that that's all you bring into the equation, you're done. You're done. Just ask Jamie McDonald. Just like ask Payano. Just ask the Frenchman. Just ask all the tall fighters that were in front of him like that. And some Japanese fighters that was taller than him. Yes. The other day I was stepping back and I was watching Naoya Inoue spar, which out there in Japan, he kind of puts it on like an exhibition, right? And the rules are you wear headgear and the big gloves. You're going to wear the big gloves the entire fight, because you should have seen the size of gloves Naoya Inoue uses in these events. They're like 16 ounces. They're huge, real big. And then he has like the padded side so he can block shots and shit. So anyway, but this is all all he's really doing is sparring. This is exactly what they would have done in sparring. And he makes an event out of it, takes the money and donates it. Yeah. There were a few events I remember he had just like this, that he didn't make anything on it. Yeah, he did it for like the people, whatever. And for 3 rounds, you put on headgear. For 3 rounds, you take off the headgear, but you still keep the size gloves on, the big gloves. And he got some good work in. I like when he does that. I like when he does. I get scared. I get nervous a little, but and then I just remind myself, no, he probably would be doing the same shit in the gym, but with headgear the entire time. All that taking off the headgear, but those gloves are so big compared to the gloves that 8 ounces he's going to be wearing on fight night. So that, you know, uh, after a couple rounds, that shit be weighing, bro. Those gloves, those big ass gloves. So you train like that. So on fight night, your hands are always lighter and you're able to move just that much faster. Yeah. Plant walking around, what? Wanting to slap, what? Somebody? Yo, ever since that famous smack heard across the world, he look, can I blame Plant? No, man. He's a calm individual. He he'll tell you sometime. He gave him more than one opportunity not to do that. And the Charlo twin allegedly grabbed his beard and was like, "You sweet. You don't do that to a man." And how many times have you ever let a man do that to you and give you a little nickname in between called sweet? Where they do that at? You cool with that? You good? He give you a little nickname right there, sweetness, huh? I'm not going for it. I can't be upset or say that Caleb Plant was out of pocket, whatever. You do some shit like that, man. There's repercussions. I'm surprised he didn't do it in the moment. Caleb walked down, and he saw the Charlo twins standing there, and he pulled up. Caleb's wife didn't even have a clue what he was gonna do. He didn't say nothing. He just, as a man by himself, went and felt like he was disrespected, and he smacked fire out of him. But cocaine's a hell of a drug, and as you can see, the Charlo twin didn't react as a fighter. If he was in his right state of mind, he's the middleweight champion of the world. There's no way he should be getting smacked like that. He's a trained fighter. He should have sprung into action. The only reason why he got hit like that and he stood, one, I believe he was under influence of something, that when he got hit, he was shocked, because it's not like you can say he was hit like a person that ain't never been smacked. That's a different situation. Here's a man that for a job, for a profession, gets punched in the face. That smack wasn't going to shock him. It wasn't like a dude getting smacked on the block and you dropped his heart. His heart jumped out of his body and he was scared. He never experienced something like that, and then he's going to freeze in the moment, right? He's a professional fighter. He gets punched in the face on a regular. The only reason why I feel like he stood still, he was intoxicated. He was high as fuck standing right there, geeked out. And he got smacked, and you don't respond well when you're beaming out the fucking side of your head. He probably been up for days or something. You never know. You never know. I don't know what the man does. I'm just hypothetically stating, like, false narratives, because truth be told, I don't know if he was intoxicated, but I've seen that. I've seen that in my neighborhood. I've seen that in life, where that the dude is like, he's been up for days or whatever, right? And that's what happens. That's why because I'm not buying the fact that he's the fucking middleweight champion of the world getting smacked. He would have, his training would have punched him in the face. He was stuck on stupid when he got smacked. That's what happened. That's what I feel like happened. Because that's like telling me a military shoulder, military, a Navy SEAL, right? Here's a gunshot, pow, and freezes. Huh? Are you crazy? He's going to spring into action, right? What would make him not? Come on, man. So I don't know, man. Like, Caleb, after that, then some fan tried to attack him. The fans came to his aid. You know what I'm saying? And you know, in some of these situations, I could see where, now he could ride off this momentum and try to put. He sees like the people, you know, he they see like he's like this dude. Like, man, I didn't ask for none of this shit, but if you bring it to me, then I'm gonna handle my business. I can respect that. I can respect that. I'm just like, man's handling his business. I ain't got nothing else to say. You know, listen, I don't know what happened. I just saw Charlo got smacked out of him. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, yo, I shit. Listen, where do they do that at? Then he knows he got smacked, and you got to know that people were recording it, and he didn't even respond well. He didn't respond well enough to be the middleweight champion of the world. No, there are just things in this world that are out of your control when you're doing shit that, unless you ever experience something like that in your life, then you'll really know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, dudes, you be seeing them. I've been up in the after party downstairs in some basement or some underground bar from underneath, or some strip club in the back, and you see them in the corner all the time. You know what I mean? And shit pops off, and you know that dude. You're like, nah. And then like the next day he looking for him. He out there, right? He's stuck on stupid. He couldn't do nothing. And that's the only thing, that logic that bumped into my head. I was just like, yo, that's just crazy that he got smacked like that, and then it didn't respond well. And being a champion, like, nah, it don't add up. Like, I would hope he was drunk or something, smoking too much weed or popping too. I don't know, man. Like, that was crazy. So now Caleb, like, he's doing his thing. He's moving on. Everybody's chasing the Saul Canelo Alvarez fight. That's the end game, basically, to get back there. Basically, he had a good account for himself. He did a good account for himself. I thought he was winning the early part of that fight, to tell you the truth. I thought that Caleb did good work in the early. He just couldn't sustain it. Fighting going backwards is exhausting, and Saul knew that. Caleb just didn't know how to deal with the pressure. He didn't know how to stand his ground, fire off, push off, and make him come back to you. Give him something hard up the middle. Everything that he gives you, make sure you make it count. Then stop again, frame up, push him off, and work off your jab. And Caleb, what he kept doing was trying to stay light on his feet. He figured it was working. I'm going backwards, light on my feet, tagging him. It's doing good, but to sustain that for 12 rounds, Saul was gambling on the fact that he wasn't going to be able, and that his performance was going to drop. And that's exactly what happened. And he picked Caleb Plant apart. Now, I can tell you one thing for sure. If Caleb had to do it all over again, I can guarantee you he would have approached that fight much different. Because I felt like in some rounds he was outboxing Saul Canelo Alvarez. In some rounds, Saul was catching up to his punches. You could see little by little, right? It was good, but I believe that Caleb did do his best work in the first half of the fight. Saul just banked on the fact that it's not going to be able to sustain if I keep pushing him back, getting him tired. Plan is everybody's business. Calling Ryan a cheater and calling Berlanga a bitch. Yeah, but that's always been a boxing ploy or trick that every boxer tends to use when they're not fighting a big name. Attach your name to another big name. keeps you in the loop, keeps you engaged with the audience. It keeps us look at talking about him in a live stream right now. Am I not talking about Caleb Plant? He did his job, and like you said, what's this guy he's fighting? What's his name? Who? Who's this? What's his name? You see, so it's like, yeah, you're right. So what do? You stir the bee's nest, make sure that your name is talked about in certain circles. You know, that thing that he got with Ryan Garcia, I'm not even going to touch that. I wouldn't want that kind of fucking argument or whatever. Now, Ryan started talking about his girl, and yo, listen, that has nothing to do with boxing. Okay. But, Caleb Plant, as long as he can give a great account for himself, if this guy is not on his level, he needs to take care of him. Get rid of him quick. Get rid of him quick. Put yourself back in the real conversation, the lottery fight, which everybody wants to enter. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but did you guys like the performance that David the Monster Benavidez did at 175? Do you think he's good there and he should stay there? Or you think he should shy away from right now because it's much different than the 168? Now, me and my boy, we was talking about this today on the I did like an afternoon show, right? And he was telling me that when Saul Canelo Alvarez in fact lost to Demetrius Bivol, right, at 175, there was a rematch clause in effect in that fight. Saul Canelo Alvarez opted out to the rematch, right? So Bivol, a lot of Mexican fans started to say, well, the only reason why you beat him is because he had to move up in weight. But if you were at his weight at 168, Saul Canelo Alvarez would have bust your ass, Demetrius Bivol, right? Okay. Lo and behold, careful what you ask for. Demetrius Bivol announced that he would go down to 168 and fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez denied the fight. So if he gave you an opportunity at his weight division, then give him an opportunity at yours. Then that way no one could say nothing. Because I beat you in your weight division and I also beat you in mine. And Saul wasn't willing to get his get back. So I just to remind you guys that when they criticized Errol Spence Jr. for not activating his mandatory fight clause, well, he had so much time to renegotiate it and everything. He did so, and he put it in. He actually activated it, and then everything fell through because the retina surgery. That's when things started to fall apart because he actually activated it. Errol did, so I retract that, right? But because Saul never activated his mandatory with Demetrius Bivol, he never requested it. Then Demetrius Bivol said, yo, check it out. I'll go down to 168 and fight you. And he denied the fight. So I was like, that looks bad. Yeah. Every single time some of the greats were questioned about a win, right? They usually went back and refought that guy. That way there would be no doubters. That way it would be you would get a definitive answer. You see? So the fact that he didn't fight him. So I was like, well, and then you got Eddie Reynosa talking about that Saul wants to end his career now, trying to make a run at the 175 weight division. And I feel that if it didn't work out for him the first time, what makes me think that, a couple more push-ups or a couple more miles is going to, spell out victory. I think that those guys are just a little bit too big for him. I know that his style typically is going to be go after the weakest champion. I could see him doing that. Whether or not he can pull it off, time will tell. I don't know. Um, Reynoso, for the most part, when he says something, that's usually the avenue that they're going to go. Okay. In the sport of boxing, we all know sometimes fighters, coaches, they say the darnest things. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it, see what happens. The Canelo Alvarez still has a big fight in front of him. He needs to take care of business against Berlanga. Berlanga, at this point, I'm going to give him a puncher's chance. A puncher's chance. And anything can happen in a fight. Let me remind you, we that's what we like about this sport. That underdog story that rised up in the occasion and really captivated the hearts and minds of the fans in a victory no one thought he or she was capable of. If Edgar Berlanga comes into this fight against Saul Canelo Alvarez, and by the grace of the boxing gods, he catches Saul and we see the legs wobble, you are going to jump out of your seat so fast. And we're going to, all the energy from all the people watching across the world and in that arena is going to just flow in the air to Berlanga. The fan, everybody I can get, if this moment occurs, it's just going to be a surge of Boricua love just screaming, finish him. Don't let him off the hook. In these moments, how will Berlanga respond? Will his eyes light up real big? Will he run into it thinking I got him and walk into a punch? Is he disciplined enough to be calm, breathe, but calculated? Calculated but powerful and quick. Don't let your opportunity pass you by. As the fans are screaming and Edgar is punching, his blood is pumping. The moment is surreal. He has them hurt. Saul's look in his eyes, he looks worried but calm. He's a champion and he's about to show it. Could he weather the storm? Could Edgar Berlanga capitalize on an opportunity few men have ever gotten? How big is this fight? And are you going to tune in to watch it? Join me September 14th when Saul Canelo Alvarez fights the one and only Edgar Berlanga, wanting to stamp his name in star status. There's only one way out of this, and one man is going to come out victorious. Who will it be? Let's find out. Listen, fight fans, you guys are amazing. I love chopping it up with you guys. Let me read some of these chats. I could see these fights in my head, and I can't wait. I can't wait. It's 60-40, you think? Yo, guys, can we smash that like button, please? Let's go. Yo, I'm dropping a fire show. Come on, man. Let's get those likes up. The show is fire right now. Listen, 60-40, you're giving them 60-40, you're a good man. You know what I mean? Look, I got him at a puncher's chance. I think the kid Berlanga has shown he does have power. I think Berlanga has shown, He is tough. A couple times he went down in a fight in his career. He was managed to get up. He secured the win, however, which way he could. He's coming off his last fight, which was a stoppage, TKO stoppage win. So, that's good to have that momentum on your side where you're able to know that you can put away at least that level of competition. Saul is nowhere near this type of competition that these guys are in. But I've always said, listen, whenever I had a new student and he was standing in front of me and he said to me, this guy has 10 years on me spar and amateur fighting experience and you want me to spar him, right? And I'm looking at him and I'm saying, you've been sparring amateur things for about 2 years. You already know how to fight, right? He says, yeah. He has 10 years, right? He says, yeah. I says, what makes you think that his 10 years is better than your 2 years? Why is it that you hear that he has 10 years and you're automatically thinking for him? You're thinking that he's better than you. Your 2 years can be better than his 10 years. He doesn't know it. This is where you're going to have to teach him a lesson. Never to underestimate a guy with only 2 years experience. But you're going to have to go out there. Sometimes you're going to have to walk through the fire. How bad do you want this? Is this what you want to do? Well, then show me. Forget about his 10 years and don't think about him. Think about yourself and think about what you're going to do to him. What are you here to do, son? The answer better be, he is here to assist me on whooping his ass. Go get him. It could be experience gap, but a fight is a fight. And if you do the right things and you surprise him, hey, that's what it is. My man, let's go. We got to throw that up. Let's go. Let's go. Road Rage, good looking out on the support. That's that's one of my long subscribers right there, always donating to the channel, always giving me one step closer to those fights. And I want to get out there and get you guys more content and interviews with fighters. And I'm going to be doing that. So don't worry, stick with me. We're going to be going places here and breaking down these fights. I wish I can be out there in Japan, because this fight is so big on so many different ways. Unfortunately, I'm starting to swing on the side of Naoya Inoue actually staying at 122. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Also, Casemiro will be fighting later on down the line. Naoya Inoue's kid brother will be fighting on that same day later on down the line. There's a lot of big fighters. We're going to have Anthony Joshua and Dubois fight for that IBF heavyweight championship. Now, Anthony Joshua can go in there and really become, I believe, a 3-time heavyweight champion. And that's a remarkable feat. And we can talk about that fight. There's much more fighters in the sport of boxing. And what I do by this channel is I try to bring you a broad perspective of some of the top fighters in the world, so that when you're waiting for your favorite fighter, you know what to look for in other fights, and you can be amused and entertained with these fights until you get your guy back in the ring. It never said in the boxing Bible, only pick one fighter. All fighters are available to us, and we have a big selection. And pick, because I'm telling you, the competition is fierce right now. And these years are getting better and better. Boxing as much as I do, these are the warriors that are doing it next. And these are the warriors that are here right now. And who are the warriors that are challenging? And that's what I always look for in fights. I love fights. I love the hurt business. And I got to admit, right now, we are in a premier era in boxing where there's a lot of competition and a lot of good champions of late. It goes to show you, even the explosion from 2023, where that the everybody was getting belts. There's only one man today currently that has all four belts. Naoya Inoue. Why? Because that kind of stuff is hard to do and to maintain. Sometimes you can get it rather quickly, and sometimes you got to go collect them one by one, just like Naoya Inoue did at 118 pounds. The most prestigious way you can do it. So, fight fans, there are a lot of amazing fights. And this Tuesday coming up, September 3rd, one of the best fighters we have in the game today is about to go in the ring against TJ Doheny. TJ Doheny is a tough Irishman that brings a lot of grit and a lot of punch chance to the equation. He's a former world champion and a number 2 ranked opponent. We're going to see how both men fare out in Japan. And I can't wait because the excitement's going to be hot. We're definitely going to get an oh shit, oh wow moment. I promise you that from a Naoya Inoue. And if you've never seen him fight before, unfortunately, he fights real early in the morning. So this is an early one. You're going to have to get up around 7, but I guarantee you it's going to be worth it. So come on, join us. I'm going to be live streaming the Notre Dame title here at Round One Sports Talk. Is obviously going to be on the line. Bam Bam's watching right now. He knows he's the champion. He wants me to reach up and grab the belt. No go. No go until we get to a fight. Yes, the belt's on the shelf right now because we had a cancellation of sorts. So, fight fans, listen, I always like having fun on the channel. I love talking about boxing. And if you enjoy boxing as much as I do, come join me here, Round One Sports Talk. Please drop a like in the video, subscribe to the channel. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. You guys have been amazing. Armando, Bam Bam, Carlos, all of you guys that tune in, thank you for your love and support. Like always.